Good afternoon, good afternoon. How are you? Welcome to Thursday at 3. I'm your host today. I'm Diane Pruitt, live from Two Girls Treasure, just a little bit north of Millen, Georgia, and the home of Rethunk Junk Paint. We're right here in Florence, South Carolina. We're at the PD State Farmers Market. You'll find me here painting something with Rethunk Junk Paint almost every day, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. I'm going to turn the volume down right quick. There we go. Miss Judy, hello. I'm so glad to see you today. Thank you for being here. So if you saw the opening photograph, that's a small nightstand that I did on Tuesday mornings live here at Two Girls Treasure. And today we are going to make the match to that nightstand. Now over the next several days, what we'll do is take a couple of extra pieces of furniture, none of which match at all. But through the magic and the zen of Rethunk Junk Paint products and my miracle sponge, we're going to make these separate individual non-matching pieces of furniture match, and we're going to make a complete bedroom suit, something that is affordable and beautiful. So let's get ready. Let's get ready. If you're in, pop on, say hello, let me know where you're from so I know that you're watching and I'm not out here by myself. I can talk to myself for a while, but it's so much nicer to talk to you. I'm going to put you on that singular view. Look at that. That nightstand is cute as it can be. I've already taken the hardware off, and let me click this one. This is the match to it, and we're going to take it. It looked just like this, but today we're going to take it and we're going to make it look spectacular. Are you ready? Very simple. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to click into a dual view so I can talk to you at the very same time. Hello from Georgia, Darlene, and hello, Kathy from Pennsylvania. It's so good to see you. So simply taking your lighter based color, in this case, I'm going to start with Morning Mist. It is our lightest light blue. Look how beautiful that color is, y'all. So gentle, easy, almost white if you look at it in the right light. But when you take our ever popular Farmhouse Navy and you run that Farmhouse Navy over the top of that Morning Mist, you get this amazing finish. Let me show you one more time. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Virginia. How about it? Uh-oh, clicked the wrong button. There we go. Yes, Solo. So do you see those colors laid in one over the other? So extraordinarily simple to get to. Prep, paint, and miracle sponge. That's all it's going to take today. So let's kick over here and let's get started. With any good project, what do we start with first? Always, always prep. Don't ever start any of your Rethunk Junk projects without your prep. This is the most important part of your project besides the piece of furniture that you're working on. Your prep deep cleans. And not only does it deep clean, it gets the gook. And that's a technical term. It gets the gook off your furniture, and you can't have a successful, beautiful finish if you still have gook on your furniture. So get the gook off, use your Rethunk Junk Prep. That's how we're going to start. Then we're going to layer over with our Morning Mist and our Farmhouse Navy. We're going to do it with a couple of paint brushes and our miracle sponge. I'm really glad you're here to see this happen. Let's get started. All right, first things first, I have my cleaning cloth, and you always want to start with a good cleaning cloth. something that you can use. This drawer goes in the other piece, but we want to paint it today too. But you want to use something that you're not really fond of. Don't get out Grandma's good linens to do this, because if you do, you're going to ruin it. Some of this furniture, y'all, came from the 1950s, and if you use your Grandma's good linens, you're going to ruin something. This is a beautiful solid wood set, but it's brown wood, and nobody seems to really care for the brown wood these days. So we're gonna make it something somebody would want. All right, just spray it on, wipe it off. I'm gonna set the drawer to the side, and we're gonna start on this. Now this has a super, super shiny surface on the top. The way to combat your shiny surface is to go ahead, spray it very liberally with your prep. And when I say liberally, I mean go ahead and get that prep on there. Don't spare it, because you're not going to save yourself any money in the long run. If you don't prep well, you're going to end up having to go back and take additional steps with additional products. If you go ahead and prep really well, you won't have to worry so much about your paint adhering and your piece of furniture being very, very clean. Now this surface has already been refinished. I can tell. I don't know if I can get you where you can see this, but I'm not going to risk knocking the camera over to show you. So I'm going to take my Scotch-Brite Scrubby. When you hear us talk about scrubbies, this is what we mean. And this Scotch-Brite just knocks that really slick polyurethane shine down. It is kind of like sanding, but you sure don't have to exert that effort. We're just scuffing the surface. And there are times when I have taken my sanding block. I know I've got one right here because I'm in my workspace, but I moved it because I was cleaning up. This leaves a grit on the surface. These Scotch-Brites are indispensable, but it will leave a little bit of grit behind. So make sure once you dull that shine down, there we go, take your rag, wipe it clean. And you know what? It would not hurt a thing if you prepped this surface one more time. If it's really shiny like this is and slick, I mean, this is some serious polyurethane on here. It's probably advisable to go ahead and prep it twice. It won't hurt a thing. So let's do that. Let's hit it one more time. Just the prep, just our rag. Spray it liberally. Don't hold back on your prep. You do not need to saturate it. Don't open your bottle and dump it out. You don't need to do all that. Just make sure that you have this surface covered well, because you want it ready to accept your Rethunk Junk paint. Now let's go ahead while we're right here and let's prep the whole thing all at one time. That way we don't miss a thing. We've got a nice little rolly cart here. You know what? It's just a cabinet door on a 4-wheel roller that I bought from the import hardware store. And it makes my life a whole lot easier. This surface is not so shiny as the top is. So I'm gonna spray it really well with the prep. I'm gonna take my cleaning rag and give it a good bath. We've got paint on it right here. I'm gonna try to scritch that off with my thumbnail. There we go. That prep will even take off old paint. So if you've got some splashes, this was probably sitting too close to me when I was slinging my paintbrush. Don't forget those legs. If you've got any kind of architecture, grooves, routing, make sure you clean those really well, because those are the areas where your 50-year-old dirt has a tendency to settle. And once it settles in, I don't think you can see the bottom edges, but once it settles in those grooves and routing, it's really hard to get out. Spray it well, clean it well, and it'll be all right. Your Rethunk Junk paint is gonna make this amazing. Spray the doors, get those cracks and grooves real well. Spray the legs. I have a tendency to do my prepping in sections, and then I try to make sure I do the entire piece. I don't want to paint this section and then go over here and spray my prep, because then I'll have prep overspray on my fresh paint, and we don't want to damage our new finish. Something like this is going to be custom, and it's hard to match, so you don't want to do any damage to it. So do it all at one time. Do the prep work first. And here's the really cool thing about a project like this. We're on for 1 hour today. I'll be finished with this before we are. We'll be able to finish this piece and have time to spare to chat about how to use our Rethunk Junk paint products. And then we can pick out a new piece of furniture to go with these two nightstands. I have an armoire, just a little armoire picked out, Queen Anne legs, so it has absolutely no style correlation with this piece of furniture at all. But once we paint it, no one's really going to notice. And then we'll need to pick out a bed. Once we pick out the bed, and we paint the bed and the armoire to match these two tables, we will have a complete bedroom suite, and someone will sleep comfortably and calmly. All right, just about done. I'm going to clean the little grooves a little bit better right here. Got some ook on the bottom, some sticky stuff. Oh, it's real sticky too. I'll spin this back around. And let me get some prep on there. Let's get that off before we even start. There we go. All right. Who's ready to do this? Who's ready to make a beautiful coastal and calm, almost a Zen? Melanie, can we use those words? Absolutely. Absolutely. Melanie said we can do it, so we will do it. Hey, Alice. Hey, Tanya. How are you? It's really great to see you. Here is our morning mist. Very gentle, very, very gentle white. I'm going to go ahead and get one of my... Oh, you know what? My favorite brushes are right here. Do you use these? Do you use these 2-inch Wooster shortcuts? I love these things. They're fantastic. Let me kick you back over here. I know I've got the down low going on, but I'm missing talking to you and seeing you. There we are. These Wooster 2-inch shortcuts are important for a couple of different reasons. If you paint a lot, you know that these wooden handles have a tendency to put a lot of pressure on the palm of your hand, right? Now these are good paint brushes. Every brush has a place in your toolkit. This one, over a long period of time, those wooden handles have a tendency to hurt your hand. If you have arthritis, if you have any type of carpal tunnel, these will hurt you over a period of time. These won't. And it's not like that flexible handle is going to move while you're painting. If it does, you are brushing way too hard and you need to stop. But what it will do is lessen the tension, the pressure that's on your hands, on your fingers while you're painting, so you won't go home at the end of the day with a lot of pain from painting. So grab your 2-inch Wooster at your local retailer. We all carry them. Rethunk Junk and Wooster 2-inch shortcuts. This is the bomb. All right, your morning mist. Let's get this on here. I'm just gonna put a nice light coat on the top. I wanna make sure it's covered well, but I don't need to cover 100%. Remember, once we finish putting our morning mist on, we are going to blend over, mix over, cover over. We're not blending, we're not mixing. We're just going to gently dust over the top of it with some Farmhouse Navy. That'll give us that coastal feel. That'll give us a very peaceful feel. If you need to be peaceful when you get ready to close your eyes at night, your blues are always your best bet. Just a nice, good coat, smooth, even lines. Now, Laura's not here today, but I want to share with you one of the most important lessons that I ever learned from Laura Whitlow. Take your paintbrush, hold your hand up, and wave at your laptop or your iPhone or your Android. Wave at me. You see that pivot action from your elbow? That's a very, very natural movement because that's how your body was built. But if you paint like that, that's what your paint strokes are going to look like. And you're going to end up with rainbows, and I'm not opposed to rainbows. I just don't want them in my finish. Now, if you're suggesting, well, if it levels out, what difference does it make? Here's where it makes the difference. The paint will level itself where you put it. If you brush in arched strokes, that's what you're going to see. It will level, but you'll see those arches. It won't be smooth and even. And if you ever watch me while I'm doing my tutorials, you will see me physically take my paintbrush and you will see me physically move with my paintbrush. And I do that to ensure that I'm not painting rainbows unless I really intend to. So I learned that from Laura Whitlow. Make sure that you make yourself conscious and very aware of your brush strokes as you're moving. Now, speaking of your brush strokes, did you notice that I only put one coat on here and I didn't touch it again? Put it on, smoothed it out, and left it alone. That's so hard to do because I just want to get back in there and keep brushing until it's dry. But the reality is, no matter what paint brand you use, if you go back in there and you continue to brush over your paint while it's wet, you're going to rip your paint apart. You're going to make pull marks. You're going to make dry spots. You're going to put brush strokes back in where you don't really want them. Once you put your paint on, get it smooth, let it lie. It will do its job, I promise. Now let's pull this out. I'm gonna dip down so you won't see me for a second or a couple of minutes. You want me to go in close? I got a new mouse, so I'm really digging on doing this, y'all. Let's go here, back in. Hey, Miss Judy, good to see you today. All right, we've got our top done. So let's come down here. Old folks shouldn't be on the floor. And we might need a little bit of fan action on this. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker from here all the way around. And I'm going to dust down the framework. Don't forget the insides of the legs. On Tuesday, yes I did. I sure did forget one, but I went back and caught it and fixed it right fast. Down the middle and back up straight, even strokes for perfectly smooth finish. Don't overwork it. Get it on there. Not too much, not too little. Make it just right. Catch those grooves and you're done. I'm going to do the back of this leg, and let me go ahead and do the inside of it while I'm right here, because I will forget. Who said it the other day? No matter what I'm doing, I always forget one inside of a leg of a piece of furniture. I do too. I think we all do. And it's okay. The beautiful thing is, you can go back and fix it. I'm going to do the back of this leg while I'm sitting right here. And that one's a little tough to get to because of the way it was built, but we've got it. Check your edges and ridges. Always check your edges and ridges before you turn your furniture, before you go to your next panel. Your ridges will be your architecture. Your edges will be where it comes over the side. You want to make sure you don't have any drips and runs right there. That'll be the weak point in your furniture if you don't correct it while it's wet. Once it dries completely, you can fix it, but you've got to take a couple of extra corrective steps to get there. Don't worry, it's doable, I promise. I'm going to do the outside of this leg, and let's spin it, and let's get to this front. I love the architecture on here. And you really can see it, but you can't see all of it. You don't see the definition in this 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 layers of architecture here. And you can't really see that with it brown. Now, I know there are people who say it's terrible to paint furniture like this. I'm not one of those people. I think ugly brown furniture deserves to live a beautiful life dressed in our Rethunk Junk paint. Now, even though I'm using Morning Mist and Farmhouse Navy, you can do this in any number of colors. If neutrals are your thing, this would look amazing with linen as a base and hazelnut over the top of it. Can you imagine? And if grays are your thing, well, I would say true gray and as a base, and maybe slate over the top of that would look amazing. Even coastal gray over true gray. So take any 2 colors that are your favorite combination, and you can make this happen. This is how. Do your solid coat base. Here we go. There's one door. I'm going to slide it over, touch up that, and I'm going to hit the underside, and we're going to make sure I'm not taking the doors off, y'all, and I'm not making a special effort not to paint over the hinges. I'm doing it. I don't think it's going to matter to a person in the world that those hinges have paint on them, and as long as I let it cure up before we do a whole lot of door opening and closing, it'll stay right where you put it. Rethunk Junk paint works fabulously on metal product, and your hinges are usually metal, so as long as you give it good cure time, your hinges stand a chance of looking just as beautiful painted as the rest of your piece of furniture. And look, done. Done with the front, done with one side. We're going to hit this leg up underneath here. And I'll adjust the camera. When we get ready to do the Miracle Sponge, I'll make sure to adjust the camera so you can see all of this architecture covered up. And spin. Let me scoot you back just a little bit so you can see the whole piece. Laura's watching, so do it right. Oh my mercy. Hey Laura. Hey Laura. Sharing some of the awesome information that I have learned from you over the years. Please make sure Tom's not watching. I'm going to use water, okay? Do that for me. But we love you, Laura, and we love all of the things that you have taught us And I am so pleased to be able to share those lessons on a daily basis with our customers. I know all of our Rethunk Junk retailers do too. So if you're watching today and you don't know exactly who carries Rethunk Junk near you, please follow the link in the comments on Facebook and find your local retailer. Build a relationship, get friendly, ask questions. We have learned so many amazing techniques from Laura that we love to share with you. So make sure you check that retailer locator. I'll bet you have someone who's absolutely fabulous to work with right down the street and you might not have even known it. Don't let this opportunity go by. Find your local retailer. And then make sure you set your calendar alarm for not only Thursday at 3 every week, but I want you to join the Creating with RTJ Paint Co page. Now that's a group newly formed, and it is specifically for you to share your before and after photographs and techniques of the beautiful projects that you've been able to do using Rethunk Junk paint products. And we have a lot. Have you checked out the brand new copper metallic? It's exciting. It's amazing. And it is available at your retailers right now. Supplies are limited because metallics have been tough to get hold of, so you don't want to wait. If you want to check out the brand new copper metallic from Rethunk Junk Paint, make sure you get to your local stockist soon, your local retailer soon, so you can get hold of some of that beautiful copper metallic. And don't forget, we have also had the, let's see, how do we call it? The wash, rich brown. Now, I'm a fool for dark brown glaze, but our rich brown wash is a completely different component, something that you've got to have in your toolkit. Can you grab the power button on that fan right there? Because bless you, bless Melanie. Let's see. We're going to let this dry just a minute. I'm going to make an adjustment to the, that's perfect. I'm going to make an adjustment to the camera so you can get a little bit better angle on that. And I see my trash can in the image. It's cleaned out, I promise. I cleaned it out before we went live. While we've got the paintbrush out, I'm going to go ahead and do the face of this drawer. This piece goes in the other cabinet, which we've already completed. And look at me, y'all. I actually closed my paint and I was going to put it away so I didn't knock it over. Yes, please join us on the Creating page. Share your befores and your afters. Tell us how you got to it. Share the story of what makes your piece special to you, because you know what? That's what makes it special to us too. We love your creations just as much as we like our own. And you know what? The fact that you have learned how to do some of these projects and you've gotten fantastic results and you're confident enough to share, well, that's just like us being a mama and being so proud of a child. And it's not that you're childish, it's that we take a lot of pride in our product, in our company, and in each other as retailers. And we also take pride in the things that you learn collectively. So we want to see your work. Make sure you share it. All right, the drawer top is done, just like that. So we'll set this over to the side and we'll let it dry. Let's get out our Miracle Sponge, our misting sprayer, and our Farmhouse Navy. Now, These I buy at the local beauty supply store. They're not cheap, so don't break them like I do. They're not cheap, so be careful with these. If you drop them on a concrete floor, they're done. Spritz your Miracle Sponge. Now, I don't know if you saw, but it was dripping water. You don't want it dripping water. We're not trying to mix and blend here. I'm going to take my Miracle Sponge. I sprayed it, put a little bit too much on it, so I'm going to tamp some of it off. I just want it damp. I don't want it saturated. And I'm going to wear my glove. Not for any other reason than that I just did my nails. I was trying to be like Laura since I was taking Laura's day today, and I painted my nails so this would look good. I'm going to keep them clean for just a minute. But what I have found with my Miracle Sponge is I'm going to get messy. I'm okay with that. I'm going to get paint on my hands. It will wash off. Soap and warm water. Seriously, just wash your hands the way Oprah said. But take your Miracle Sponge, dampen it, and then let's break out the Farmhouse Navy. This is so much fun. Yes, we love to cheer each other's success. Your success is our success. We're retailers. If you're successful and you're happy, we're counting on you to tell your friends so your friends will come shop with your retailer as well. So make sure you share your source of happiness with your friends. Don't leave them out in the cold. That's not a good friend. A good friend tells where to get your Refund Junk paint products. Now my little froggy is frogging over there. That means we've got company in the house. If you've never been here, just know if you hear the frog or the doorbell, we're a brick and mortar store in Florence, South Carolina, and we love company. So if you're in the neighborhood ever, stop by and see us, especially if we're doing a tutorial and we're open. We love company. And if you bring food, we'll love you even more, I promise. Now I'm going to put this right up in your face. I'm not going to put a whole lot of paint on here. I just want enough to cover it. It's almost like dry brushing, but with the Miracle Sponge. Now I know this looks crazy. I've got a paintbrush in one hand, Miracle Sponge in the other, but I'm using my quart of Farmhouse Navy, and my Miracle Sponge will actually drop down inside if I'm not careful. So I don't want to dip it over. Y'all know I will spill this all over the place. So I take my paintbrush and I coat my Miracle Sponge, and now we're going to cover the top of this table. Now let me do this while we are right here. Let me move a couple things out of your way. I want you to see this on the top because it looks so cool and the finish ends up being amazing. So I'm going to dip you down without putting my hands all up in your face. And there we go. Oh, I think we can do this. Look here. Just about right. Just about right. I think I'm going to be too far away. We've got a little gnat trying to get in the action. The first thing I'm going to do is take my Mister bottle and my Miracle Sponge. I'm going to mist over the top of this table. Just a little mist. I'm not going to saturate it. I just want a little bit of water so this moves smoothly. And I'm going to start right here at the front edge, and I'm going to take my Farmhouse Navy. Start at the edge, come all the way across. Smooth, even lines. I'm moving with my sponge even though I'm on the side. I'm letting my body move the sponge more than my hand. That way, I don't bend my elbow until it comes off the top. And I have very smooth, even lines. That is hard for me to do. I just want you to know that. So if that's something that you struggle with too, please know that we do too. You're not struggling alone. We're here struggling with you. But find the way that you can make your movements work for you. And then you will find that smooth, even lines are easy to attain. They really are. Let's spin this around and let's go to this side. This should be dry. One of the things I learned along the way, Laura, I didn't learn this from you, honey, but I did learn this from my husband. When you get ready to check your paint to see if it's wet, don't use this side of your hand. You'll leave fingerprints. Use the back side of your hand and just touch it gently. Once you touch it gently, you'll find where you still have a little bit of damp movement, and I have some right here in the center. So I'm going to be careful there for two reasons. It's damp. I'm not trying to blend my Farmhouse Navy with my Morning Mist. I'm trying to cascade over it. If I hit that wet spot or where it's damp with my Farmhouse Navy, two things could happen. One, I could mix it up and come out with a different color, one that I don't want. Two, I can peel that paint off because it's still damp, it's still movable, and you don't want to do that. So when you use the back of your hand and gently touch your piece, you'll find, see my knuckles, where your wet paint is. This is why my apron's covered with paint, y'all. It'll be okay though. That's what it's for, right, Laura? I'm gonna take my sponge. I'm gonna mist it just a little bit. I'm gonna mist this with emphasis not in this center. And I'm gonna get a little bit of the Farmhouse Navy and I'm gonna coat my Miracle Sponge. The Miracle Sponge, just like everything else, learn how to manipulate it, learn how to make it work for you. I'm finding, as I'm learning, that there are so many different neat things that you can do with this sponge. You have got to have these in your toolkit, y'all. If you don't, get to your retailer, get these Miracle Sponges today. If you don't have a retailer or you're not sure, Rochelle is on the comments. She's dropping links. You follow those links after we go off the live, and you find where to order these. Even if you have to order them from Laura, make sure you get these to paint with. They are thebomb.com diggity. Don't miss out. And I hate saying supply chain issues. I do, but we've run into a few lately. That's why it's been tough to get metallics, but it's also been tough to get these too. Don't miss out. Don't miss these. Make sure you have some and wash them out really well. They wash and reuse very, very well. I have one soaking because I forgot to wash it out. And I'm just soaking it in hot water and Murphy's oil soap. And it's coming off. The paint's coming off. So I'm being real gentle. I'm still pulling paint. It's fresh. It's fresh paint. And my sponge is, my fan's keeping my face cool, but it's not drying my paint. So, I'm gonna spritz this again. I don't want it to pull. I just want it to cover gently. There we go. Top to bottom, side to side. And I'll show you once we get through a really cool way to go back in and lighten up the spots, like especially around the edge where the sponge touches and you want to smooth that out. Here we go, and here's the little, now that spot right there was not covering, so I'm just bopping it, just tamping it with my sponge, and that'll give me coverage. We're gonna leave it alone and we'll come back and we'll lighten this up. I'll show you a neat trick. So let's spin it again. Get around here to the front side. Cover that Miracle Sponge with that Farmhouse Navy. Spritz your face just a little bit. That's funny, it's like 100 degrees in South Carolina. Spritz your face. Spritz the face of your furniture or your face if you're really hot. Now we talk sometimes in the winter about how cool or cold it can be outside to paint with Rethunk Junk. You know I prefer to paint inside in the air conditioning in the summer in the South. But it makes it really difficult if you're painting outside in the summer temperatures because your paint will dry so quickly. So if you have the opportunity and the space to paint inside, I really recommend it in the summertime so that you have that play time, that open time that you really need with your paint colors. So that way you get the finish that you want. A fan always helps. And keep in mind, Rethunk Junk paint is non-toxic. Rethunk Junk paint doesn't have a lot of fumes, if any at all. And Rethunk Junk paint can be cleaned off your floors. But don't do it on your bare floor. Go to your dollar store and grab an old shower curtain or grab a tarp and lay it down first. Then put your piece on it and then paint your piece. And then you don't have to worry so much about getting paint on your floors. Now, if you drop your paintbrush, that's a whole other story. But you know what? All you have to do is grab your prep and clean it up. Ask me how I know. I would have to say, I've done it before. Now, I can't see your comments right now because I'm old and I'm on the floor, and getting up from here is going to take an act of Congress. So if you're commenting questions, I'm hopeful. I know Rochelle is there that she can answer because she is like the bomb diggity. She knows all about Rethunk Junk paint, and besides, she said Laura's here too. And I know the queen of everything we rethunk knows everything about rethunking. We've learned it all from her. Spritz it gently, not oversaturating. We're not trying to blend. We're not trying to mix. I just like layered color over color, and I find that my movement is a little bit easier when I have a little bit of moisture. Now there's another way to do this. I skipped the step, but I'll tell you, you can paint your piece, you can tough top it, then you can do this. The tough top actually puts a barrier between your two colors, and that way this moves a little bit differently, a little bit smoother, if you will. And it gives you a little bit more open time to play with it and get the layered look you want. I did not do it that way. I'm going to keep moving this way, but that's an option for you if this is the look you love and you want to do it with your favorite Rethunk Junk colors. Just remember, you can do it that way too. Anytime you want to put more than one color together and you don't want to blend them, let them dry really well. Put a coat of Tough Top in between your layers, and it'll give you a little bit more playtime. And who doesn't need more playtime? Ta-da! I like the morning mist in the corners. I like that shadow effect. I like that, y'all. I think it's pretty cool. Now, there are some spots though, like right here, where I don't really like the way that looks. That's not what I was going for. Do you want me to show you how to correct that? It's real simple. I'm gonna put my Farmhouse Navy up, and I'm going to grab a separate paintbrush, and I'm gonna get out my Morning Mist. My paintbrush is already damp. I spritzed it. And I'm gonna put just a little bit of paint on there. Not a lot, just a little. And watch how easy it is to smooth some of the Morning Mist back in over the top of that really harsh line. Well, Duh, silly. Now you've got white lines on here. Watch this. Take your stain, and I usually damp both sides. A little bit more because I don't want it to drag. I want it to move smoothly. Smoothly. Take your dampened stain pad, find your smooth edge. Now blend that color in. Blend it smooth. You need more water, spritz it. Don't oversaturate it. You don't want to oversaturate at this point. You just want to soften that harsh line. Still not enough? That's okay. Put some more in. I'm going to soften this whole top line right here. I don't like the way. That's it?
Yeah, hasn't been that long.
Okay.